Mr Speaker, like you, and I know you love and protect heritage, and all of us do in this House, we all appreciate and understand the significance and the opportunity and the importance of protecting heritage, not only our natural environment and the heritage that has been supported and built up over some 60,000 years of Indigenous culture in Australia, but also our built heritage and the important role that built heritage plays in the fabric of our communities, of our suburbs, our towns and our state. And there are many benefits to the preservation of heritage, from the aesthetics and character that historic places contribute to our suburbs, to the immense economic and social benefits derived from built heritage. And if you only look at the old towns of many of the cities of Europe that attract hundreds of thousands of tourists every year, from Rome to Paris to Krakow to parts of old London, where people walk the streets admiring the centuries of built heritage and travel every year to do so, providing much economic benefit to those cities. Heritage, from illustrating the unique story of our state and nation to providing a special place for the people and the community groups to meet, the benefits are endless. We can see the endless benefit from that from the recent strengthening of heritage protection of the suburb of Colonelite Gardens as a good example of our community's desire to protect unique and important built environs across Adelaide. Fortunately, my electorate of Wade is full of examples that demonstrate these benefits, whether that be the old Government House in Belair National Park, which provides the home to the Friends of the Old Government House, who on Monday's Anzac Day holiday set a new visitor daily record, both in number of takings, and I'm led to believe they received some 130 visitors, 62 afternoon teas and several tours as well. Not only does this building provide a purpose and social opportunity for the Friends of Old Government House, it also provides educational and economic benefits for the rest of the community. And this is just one example. Previously, I've spoken in this House about other places around my electorate that also provide these benefits. Carrick Hill and the unique legacy that the Haywoods have left to the people of South Australia, not just through the Haywoods wartime service, the Christmas pageant, but what an important environment Carrick Hill is. Erbray House and the legacy of Peter Waite, Scotch College Main House, Belair Railway Station, which is currently being used as part of the State's History Festival. And once again, can I just thank the Blackwood Action Group and their History Subcommittee for their hard work of that committee, and the Historic Precinct and the Bakehouse in Coromandel Valley, just to name a few. One in particular, sir, has been of important debate in recent times, and indeed is the genesis of the introduction of this legislation before the House today, is that of the State Heritage-listed Waite Gatehouse. Located on the corner of Cross Road and Fullerton Road in Erbray, I'm sure by now most are aware of the story of the Gatehouse, and if they haven't been, it means they haven't been listening to the contributions in this House. The building, which has been on the State Heritage Register since 1982, was under threat from being flattened to make way for the Crossroad Fullerton Road intersection upgrade that in time, if there isn't a change of tact, will see increased freight traffic down Cross Road. During the lengthy and intricate process of saving the Gatehouse, led by so many members of the community, myself and others came to the conclusion that the State Heritage listing in and of itself was not enough for the protection from bulldozers, road engineers and developers. And in fact, maybe the only thing that would have saved the Waite Gatehouse from destruction was the member for Flory standing in front of the bulldozer at the time to ensure that it didn't get flattened. But it is clear that being on the State Heritage Register is not enough to protect a building from demolition and loss of state heritage protection. And from the moment that it was announced that the fate of the Gatehouse will be saved, and I thank many in the government for working together with the community to ensure that, it is now and that will see the building being relocated, its state heritage listing has not been enough to protect it from the powers that be. And indeed, there are still many concerns around the tender process, details around how the building will be moved and rebuilt, the inability for the project to adopt new technologies such as those proposed by Mammoth Movers to move the gatehouse as a whole, guarantees of rebuilding for like, and a guarantee of the preserving of that heritage status. All of this has been lacking at the moment and needs further clarity. But indeed, all components of this and protection of the gatehouse should require more scrutiny, and the process is of a concern to many in the community. This legislation that is before the House will create a much-needed emphasis on preservation of both natural and built heritage throughout South Australia. And unfortunately, the gatehouse is not alone in protection of its future. Currently, other well-known places such as the Newmarket Hotel are under the threat, as well as several lesser-known places such as the Horse Tram Bar in Prospect and the 1840 State Heritage listed houses in Harndorf. With the introduction of the new Planning and Development Code and the current attack on heritage throughout our state, I believe our community assets need an extra layer of protection. And this is why I've introduced the Heritage Places Protection of Heritage Places Amendment Bill 2021. This proposed legislation, an amendment to the Heritage Places Act 1993 with the insertion of a new Part 4A, if supported by the Parliament, will require both Houses of Parliament to approve any reduction of heritage significance or destruction, either partially or wholly, to any place listed on the State Heritage Register. The legislation carries a maximum penalty of $120,000 for anyone found guilty of the offence. We need this to provide stronger protection to spaces of heritage significance, and this bill seeks to legislate these measures. Think about the significant contribution other state heritage-listed buildings provide to our state, whether that be the Thebby Theatre, the Adelaide Oval Scoreboard, Her Majesty's Theatre, Town Hall, Barsmith Library, Edmund Wright House, just to name a few. Personally, any destruction or reduction to any of these buildings or any space of heritage listing should be of great concern to all of us, and this warrants both Houses of Parliament, in my view, to consider and approve these decisions. I'd like to thank Deborah Morgan, Chair of the National Trust SA Branch, and Emeritus Professor Warren Jones, AO Convener of the Heritage Alliance, for their contribution, input and support of this draft legislation, as well as the Mitcham Historical Society. If passed, if this legislation passes the Parliament, as David Bevan said on radio this morning, finally being on the heritage list will mean something. We must treat this seriously now and enshrine these places in our history, or who knows the fate of our built environs for future generations. I commend this bill to the House.